the political answer to all those is very multifaceted, and we don't want to talk about that in the media because there's not a one solve fix everything issue when it comes to housing. It's multi-layered systemic stuff. And if you pull one Jenga piece out, it affects another Jenga piece. So while we bash on people rightly for not dealing with housing policy, it's also one of the most complicated economic things we have, which also makes it very politically fraught. Can we have honest conversation that, yeah, we bang on it, but it's also really, really hard to do right?
Well, the solution, I like you brought this up, because the solution is at the federal, the state, and the local level, right? The federal government can do things to incentivize housing construction. It can give tax breaks, things like that, that'll motivate producers to build housing. It can, at the margins, free up land, though I don't think that, freeing up, land that's, in the middle of nowhere is going to do much for housing prices in Boise, Idaho, let alone New York City. But, let's acknowledge that there is a role to help incentivize, housing solutions at the federal level. There's also education. There's also support that we could have. But there's also a role at the state level to determine how they want to grow and the requirements they might put in for where houses can be built, and the governing restrictions on those homes, right? Florida is going to have different rules for the construction of their homes, given their natural risks, than Texas, then California, then Minnesota, right? Makes sense there. And then you have the third layer, which is the local politics, right? Where the residents are, where that is, and that's probably the most sticking point, because that's where we're the most human, right? Where we see that this new thing is being built, right? And that might change the character of my neighborhood within a 3-block radius. And I care deeply about my neighborhood being like the neighborhood that I moved in, And so that is a friction that is not inherent to a political party. It is a friction that is at the local level that brings otherwise very different people together to be like, we don't like this change.